What's up, YouTube? It's your girl Tana Too Cute coming to you with another video. Whew, sure. Did y'all watch the finale of the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion part 3? Ooh, it just gave me all of my life. All of my life. I tell you, I just have to give them a big round of applause just for the entertainment piece of it. Come on, let's talk about this here tea here. Okay, so the reunion part 3, let me give my disclaimer before we go ahead and jump on into this. Now, y'all, this is most of this is just pure entertainment for TV. We all know that a lot of stuff was edited out and they presented what they want us, the viewers, to see. Okay, and we're forming our opinions just based on what we saw. There are probably many other things that took place in these reunions shows and even on the actual episodes that we did not get a chance to see. So I'm merely just speaking on what was presented to us from an entertainment standpoint. And so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. So the reunion opened up, with Candace. Of course, she was still crying from part 2, and she was just like she needed a break. So, the girl, she didn't walk off the stage because she needed a break. Now, mind you, they were still talking about, the fight, y'all. Ooh, they done ran it in the ground. They still talking about the fight, but she just could not, stomach the conversation. So she had to walk off and collect herself. Her husband did a good job of, helping calm her down. But girl, get over it. It's been over a year now. Woo. So next, the next thing is, Andy was kind of, in my opinion, I think Andy was, a little harder with his questioning style. When it came down to Monique, it seemed like he drilled in a little harder, on her. And I thought that was, kind of odd. He wasn't drilling in as hard as with the other ladies as he did with Monique. And he was just asking her, he basically said, "Are you upset?" Or, because she was really dry and matter of fact. And hey, Monique, her response was she's just not built like that. And you have to keep in mind, everybody's story is different. People have gone through different things in their life, and it has, at some point developed some sort of tough skin. So everybody expresses their different emotions different ways. So, Monique, I applaud her. She just said she was not built that way. And who's to say she did not have, emotions that she expressed, outside of being around the ladies. So I thought that was a good comeback for her. But Andy, I'm not sure, what else he was looking for her to do. Candace, she made a comment when she was, still backstage. She made a comment that this almost took her out. Girl, how did all of this emotional drama almost take you out? No, it didn't almost. You only got your hair pulled. So my thing is, if it was impacting her to that degree, if it was, all real, there has to be something deeper, that she is actually not dealing with for this to still be impacting her that way. Because the reason why I say that is because her mouth is too reckless for this to really be impacting her that way, if she doesn't have anything deeper going on outside of just this fight. So, you have to keep that in mind as well. So they continued to talk about, the fight. They really, drilled in on the fight, just based on some of the highlight commercials or whatever. They talked about the fight for almost probably an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours. But it came up about what really triggered Monique to react the way she did. And believe it or not, Monique said that she really didn't know what her triggers were. She knew she had triggers, but didn't understand why. And her trigger was when Candace was waving her hand in her face. So in that moment, Monique was like, hey, it wasn't really about Candace in that moment. It was about the trigger. And I believe her. You have flashbacks, on your upbringing or some sort of event that may have happened to you. And when that kind of is presented to you in another time period of your life, it could be, later on adulthood, and you're presented with that trigger, your reaction may be so different than how it was in the past, because in the past, you may not have been able to react, the way you probably wanted to react, or you didn't know how to react at that time. So her trigger was hands waving in her face, because she mentioned that her dad used to always point his finger in her face or push upside her head or something to that degree. So that was the trigger for her to react the way she did with Candace. So, and I believe her. So that it really wasn't about Candace in the moment, even though they were arguing. But that reaction was not about Candace. And I believe her. I really, really, really believe her. So as they kind of asked the other cast members, Andy, he asked, did they think Candace took it a little too far with the legal actions? And I was surprised to hear that none of them really wanted Candace to pursue legal actions. I was really surprised to hear that. Robin didn't agree, didn't want the legal actions. Wendy thought it was too much. Even Giselle, Miss Old Gizzy, thought it was a little bit much. But Andy goes on to ask Giselle what she thought the repercussions should have been. And she was like, ankle bracelet. Girl, really? Come on, ankle bracelet? So I think she was just saying anything at that point. An ankle bracelet. So I'm like, if they didn't think legal actions was too much, what did they want to happen? Did they want her to just cry and apologize immediately? Or did they want Monique to feel isolated the rest of the season, as they did anyway? They wanted her to feel isolated. If you didn't want legal actions, you didn't want legal actions, but what did you want? What did they really want to happen if they didn't want that? It just didn't add up, didn't really, really make sense to me. So further on into the reunion, at some point in this part 3 of the reunion, they did get to a point where Monique did offer, an apology for her part in the whole altercation. She apologized, and it was sincere. I believe it was sincere. But Candace, she was really childish and immature, and didn't accept the apology. So that was that. And I think Monique was still satisfied regardless of how Candace reacted or whether or not she accepted the apology or not, because she took ownership of her part in the whole fight. So she did what she was supposed to do in this matter. So let's get on back here to old Shady Mr. Andy, honey. He so it came up about um Monique's song that she have out now. It's called Drag Queens, and Monique stated that her therapist asked her to write it out. You know, you got different ways of helping you get through a situation. Writing things out, talking things out. Those are just all techniques of getting through a situation. But you would know that if you don't go and see a therapist. Black folks don't go see therapists. We work it out. But in this case, she did, and I commend her for that. So she actually wrote a song called Drag Queens, and she said it really wasn't about Candace per se, but I do believe that some of the writing was inspired by Candace in that whole altercation. So, you know, that's just my take on it. You know, Monique said it was about her entire life and not necessarily Candace, but I think it was inspired, of course, because of the altercation. But let's get on back here to Andy. And I kind of moved a little bit fast, but that's okay. I was super excited about this particular part. But they were talking about the attorneys and why did Monique actually do a countersuit. And Monique, in another video, I think it was in All About the Tea, she did an interview with her, and she stated that she was going to offer an apology earlier. However, at that time, she learned that Candace had issued a lawsuit. So at that point, Monique could not contact her directly anymore. So Andy goes to ask Monique, you know, why did she countersuit? And she basically was like, because if she got an attorney to sue me, I need an attorney too to help me get out of this situation and to take the advisement of what my attorney wants me to do. And she says, Monique told him, hey, I got the top attorney in the Maryland, D.C. area. And Andy, he was, you know, really shady. Who, Phil Barr? I thought that was really, really shady, as if that he is not the top attorney or whatever. And he goes on to say that he thinks that she got bad advice. Child. And it was going in. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Okay, so coming up last, y'all. The husbands came out. Child, they started with Wendy and her husband. So I skated right on past Wendy and her husband. It wasn't interesting at all. I don't think it contributed anything to the reunion at all. So Andy goes around and speaks to all the husbands, Chris, Ray, and then Chris Samuels. When he spoke to Chris Samuels, you know, they exchanged, the word speaking or whatever. Chris didn't wait. He did not wait, y'all. He went right in. He went right in on these folks. He said that he was trying to find out why they was plotting on his child. Chris came out ready, locked and loaded, honey. Yeah. So, and they went right on in. But listen, it got to a point where Chris wanted to know, because they were, as Monique stated, they were acting as if Monique just making up this plot, this just pulling it out of the clear blue sky. No. So she was telling Chris that when he came out. So, it got to a point where Chris went around to each lady and was like, did you have a conversation or talk about the plot on the show to Robin? She said no. He went on to Candace. She said no. He got to Miss Gizzy. Did you talk about plotting against my child on this show. She got quiet as a mouse, y'all. Quiet as a mouse. And then out of nowhere, First Lady just started cussing. Don't speak to me. I mean, y'all, I did not know First Lady could cuss like she did on this part 3. I mean, she was using the M and F's and the F's and the B's and everything. And it got heated in there. And Giselle, she didn't brought her own security. The security didn't even come because Chris stood up at one point in the reunion. He wasn't standing up like he was going to attack anyone. He just stood up because I think the other Chris, kind of got loud with him about something. But when he did stand up, Giselle was looking back, cussing, to, waving at her security to, get him to sit down. That security guard did not move a lick. He like, I ain't finna mess with that big man. But I was totally surprised. Giselle was cussing her A off. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. I mean, First Lady, come on through with the cuss words. But y'all, and last, Robin, when, of course, the conversation went on, and Robin, Chris asked Robin something else, and Robin was, she kind of started yelling, I'm so glad Juan is not here. And she said about 3 times loud. I'm like, what Juan was going to do? He barely show up on the reunion shows. So what was he going to do if he was there? Nothing. Nothing at all. But at the end of the day, y'all, at the end of the reunion, Chris showed huge support for his wife. I commend him on that. And his final words, and I believe him, it was so genuine, so sincere. They didn't believe it, but I did. He said that his final words was that he commended his wife for the strength that she maintained throughout this entire season, because she had a rough season, and he never realized the strength that she has until now. And he applauded her. They stood up. He gave her a big hug, and then he looked over at Giselle, and he was like, "Hurt people, get some help." Oh, I was done. Oh my goodness. I was done. That was the way to end that reunion part 3, y'all. Listen, I know I've been going on and on, but look, I need y'all to hit that like button. There it is over there. Go ahead and press it. Boom. And I need you to go over here to the right, or is it on your left? Here on the right, I need you to hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell too. I'm getting back in the groove, y'all. So help me stay in the groove by subscribing. Hit the like button so that you can get more videos from me. Now, I'm all over the place, but hey, I am going to find my niche with y'all help. Okay, cuties? So thank you for tuning in to Tana 2 Cute. Hey, yay, 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 yay.